Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's your good friend Eric Thompson. This is the Ninja Selling Podcast. Thank you so much for listening and engaging. We so much appreciate it. I think you're going to like this one. This is going to be a fun interview with two very special people. We are here with, first, Jim Knight from Sotheby's Realty in St. Louis. Welcome, Jim, to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. We are also here with his coach, his ninja coach, Brady Smith. Welcome, Brady.
Hey there. How is everybody?
I should say welcome back.
Right.
You've most definitely been on the podcast before. Jim, this is your first time. Jim, we're really grateful for you being here today with us. We are recording this as we speak during a ninja installation being held right here in Fort Collins, Colorado. Jim, you flew in from St. Louis to attend. We appreciate that. I'm going to tell people right up front where we're headed. Kind of the punchline of this whole podcast is the fact that Jim in 2024 actually more than tripled his business compared to 2023. So we're going to get into the questions around how did he do that? But first, Jim, why don't you tell us how long have you been in real estate?
So 2025 will be my fifth year. So just 4 completed years so far.
Got it. So 2025 is fifth year. We're recording this at the end of March. So you're starting your fifth year in real estate.
Yes.
And you told me before we started here, but tell everyone, what did you do before real estate?
So I worked for Xerox for 20 years and was in sales and sales management around the Midwest.
Got it. And you're with a terrific company, Sotheby's, right there in St. Louis. So you serve just the greater St. Louis area?
Exactly. On the Missouri side, the greater St. Louis area, and it's Dielmann, Sotheby's, International Realty. And I've been with them the whole time.
Got it. Fantastic. Well, thank you for being a ninja. Thank you for being a ninja coaching client. And you and Brady have been working together. Brady, tell us how you've been working with Jim for how long?
Getting close to 2 years. It was June of 23 when we started working together.
23. Yeah. So you've watched this firsthand,
yes.
Tripling of business. So we're going to ask questions of Jim, and then also Brady will ask questions of you to get the coach's perspective on this. But Jim, let's just dive in. I think, to the obvious questions people are asking, which would be all about, well, how do you do that? How does someone triple their business from one year to the next, when, as we know, the market certainly didn't triple from 2023 to 2024. The market was not maybe in support of you tripling, right? There were some challenges, some headwinds. And so, Jim, what I want you to do is think about, in terms of the 3 success keys. So we say those are mindset, skill set, action. As you think about what you did to triple your business in 24 versus 23, in those 3 categories, mindset, skill set, action. I thought we'd have some fun, and we'll do it in reverse order. So maybe think about actions, then skill set, then we'll finish with mindset. So how's that sound?
That sounds fine. I'll do my best.
Okay, great.
So actions. So without sounding like too much like a ninja commercial, but the Ninja 9, I'm not the perfect student. I don't get it down perfectly at all, and that's why I hired a ninja coach. Part of it was as an accountability partner, but part of it just to somebody help me get someplace with my real estate career, because I was struggling. I wasn't really going to where I wanted to get. And so consistency on that Ninja 9 really started kicking in.
Got it.
And so that's where the actions really came in. So, I was doing things like my flow better. I was monitoring my warm list and my hot list better. I was, one of the biggest things is my pre-planning, like inside my Ninja notebook or whatever.
Yeah.
I buy the one from Ninja and I follow everything there. And I started intentionally blocking my week and doing everything else. And when you become more intentional in your business, it's amazing how much more you get done. And you're not kind of running around by the seat of your pants, not getting things done. Everything's getting done.
Okay. This is great. This is really helpful. So we talk a lot about in Ninja about being on purpose. You became more on purpose by being really intentional about your week, using the Ninja Planner.
Yeah.
So this is textbook, guys. So just the simple strategy of sitting down once a week to map out your week using the Ninja Planner. So that's something you really weren't doing before 2023, maybe at least not as much.
No. If you looked at my 2023 year 3 planner, there'd be like 1 week scheduled, 2 or 3 weeks not, another week scheduled, 2 or 3 weeks not. And then Brady, when we started going through business planning in the fall of 23 for my 2024 year, there's a lot of elements to that business plan. But one of the things he would say is like, how do you, why are you so productive sometimes and sometimes not? And I'd be like, it's actually pretty simple when I really look at it, that the weeks I planned, I had incredible weeks. And the weeks I didn't plan, all of a sudden my business was falling apart.
Yeah.
So Brady helped me by pushing me and say, every Monday, I want you to take a picture of that book and get that to me. And I'm not perfect right out of the gate, but I started getting better and better as it went on.
Yes. One thing I'll interject real quick is that maybe the theme of this podcast, the title, can be how to triple your business without being perfect. And sure, we strive for mastery, we strive for perfection, but no one's perfect. And so one thing we do in coaching is we allow imperfection. We have high standards. We expect a lot, and it's okay when we're not perfect. And maybe Brady, you want to expand on that thought?
You can see me just sitting on my hands, can't you?
Yes, right.
So one of the things that he said that came to mind for me, coaching clients, we encourage them to do what we call the weekly agenda and turn those in weekly to us. It helps us see what's going on between the times that we meet in person or on our calls. And my goal is to set clients up for success. And if they're struggling to do that, if there's another way that an alternative thing that we can do that's still going to serve the same purpose and get you there and help you be on purpose. So that's one of the reasons I said, why don't you just take a screenshot or a picture of your weekly planner and send it to me so I can see what's on your calendar, see what you're doing. And that'll at least help me know, where we need to make adjustments. And that was probably, I started getting them a lot more consistently when we did it that way. So
got it. Well, what I'll offer to everyone listening, if you find yourself in a place of, gosh, I want to get better results. I see that there's opportunity to improve, have more clients to work with. Not sure where to start. Simple place to start. Start with that weekly meeting with yourself, mapping out your week, and find someone that would be on the receiving end of that picture. Take a picture and find someone that would be willing to look at that each week. That's going to help you to be accountable. So, Jim, again, when it comes to action, I think simply it was becoming more on purpose with your schedule, which then allowed you to be more consistent with your actions.
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
Very much.
Okay, so again, we're having fun. We're going in reverse order: mindset, skill set, action. What do you do to triple your business? What comes up for you, Jim, when we think about skill set? Is there a skill set that you can point to in 2024 that was much better compared to 2023 that helped you get those results?
So again, I will prompt Brady here. He mentioned a couple things to me, but when we were talking about my goals for 24, I had a goal when I worked for Xerox Corporation. I made 6 figures. And, I was fairly new into real estate and I wanted to replace that income. So I just kind of arbitrarily set a goal that I wanted to make 6 figures, $100,000 a year. And Brady, like when we started doing the pre-planning process for the next calendar year, looks at it and he goes, let's look at your life list and go through some of those things and what you want to do. And I will tell you, this is my second Ninja installation I'm doing now. I did one in 2022 and I created a little vision board of things I wanted to accomplish. And what's amazing is in 2022, I accomplished most of those things. So I'm sold on the idea of a vision board. It's just a handwritten little 5.5 by 8.5 sheet that it's like I keep in my notebook and I do review it consistently with my weekly and daily Ninja activities. But Brady tells me, he goes, looking at everything on your life list, he goes, I don't know if $100,000 is going to do it. So in the Ninja plan for your yearly planning that you go through, there is a worksheet, and they do this in the Ninja class as well, where you talk about, how much you want to keep for yourself, how much you want to donate, how much, is your business costing you and everything else. And I went through that exercise, and even though my numbers weren't perfect, some of them are estimates or whatever, I really all of a sudden came up and I said, wow, I really need to be making more $150,000 to $200,000 a year if I really wanted to do everything I wanted to do. So Brady, as a coach, pushed me to be more intentional and say, you got to up your goal and you've got to up your activities to get to that goal. And again, it made me more intentional. And so all of the activities of the Ninja 9 and stuff, it became much more intentional. Like I got to make more phone calls and stuff. So when you talk about that skill set, flow is really important. So originally I wasn't doing all 50 calls or whatever, and I'm still not saying I'm perfect, but between phone calls and dog walks and the people that I meet and having those things, I was consistently moving that number up. It was probably just a dozen or two to begin with and stuff, and then it'd be a 25 to 30 and 30 to 35, and I do have some banger weeks that I probably overhit the 50. Yeah. But not consistently, but I'm trying to get more consistent because it really is true. I mean, you learn in the ninja classes, flow fixes everything. And it's like, I go, oh, I noticed when, there was a drop there. So flow was really important. And that's something I really improved on.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, going back to, we don't have to be perfect. Perfection in the Ninja 9 would be 50 live interviews. And you're saying you went from maybe having a dozen and you got it up to 2 dozen and sometimes more than that. And you know what, when you add that up over the course of a year, the difference between a dozen and 2 dozen times 50 weeks, that's a lot.
Yes.
So that's a lot. That's a lot of live contacts. It's a lot more live contacts. So just the skill of being more intentional. And I would imagine too, and Brady, maybe you can chime in on this, the skill of being even better during those live interactions. Did you see Jim improve there?
Absolutely. It didn't take me long to figure out that he's good at conversation. He's good at showing care and concern for people's needs and, asking like the Ford questions. But I think that really being able to hone in on the life changes and really listen and pay, there's a clue that something might be going on, I think is something that I've really noticed him improve his skills on since we've been working together.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Jim, one more that you were telling me about before when it comes to a skill set is you think you got better at working with buyers.
Yes.
And can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So, one of the things that it's like I could consistently do is with the buyer's packet and with, the legislation that came down last year, everything else, the key to differentiating myself really became much more important. So I made sure my buyer's packet was really good. And so one of the things that I use in my buyer's packet is there's a sheet that I got through Ninja that was called Winning Strategies. It's got a bunch of little thermometers on it. Some people have seen that probably. And what it is, it talks about the different parts of the negotiation of the contract. When I started working with buyers, number one, having the interview, that's really key.
So actually, following the process, having a buyer interview.
Instead of somebody calling me and say, hey, I saw a house, I want to go look at it. I mean, I'm not saying I don't do that occasionally, but primarily it's like, I'm much more intentional. I say, hey, this is a service I offer to my clients. It's like, we are asking you to commit to somebody. It's at least state law and federal law now in some ways to have a buyer's contract signed. I would say one of the ways that I am different is I start off with a meeting, an interview, and I go through that interview process. I actually get out the sheet and I go through the Ninja sheet and ask them, about their past experiences and different things like that. And I do all of the steps through there. But as one of the steps in there, I also talk about winning strategies and everything else about how to win in a contract. And I tell them that what the market's like right now. And last year, especially, there wasn't a lot of inventory. And so when I had buyers, I didn't want to be one of those people where I'm writing 4 and 5 contracts, for them before they get a house. So we really worked on those winning strategies and worked with my partners and worked with them to get everything so they could have a much cleaner offer or whatever, so we could be more successful right out of the gate.
Got it. So your odds of success with each buyer went way up.
Oh, incredibly.
And the time spent showing properties, writing offers went way down. So you became much more efficient, which then allowed you to triple your business because you had more time to be productive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're dead on.
Yeah.
It's so important to set expectations with clients. Here's what you can expect from me. Here's what it looks like, and just have all that laid out and discussed on the front end, so that you aren't, like throwing paperwork in front of their face when it's time to make an offer, and they know what's going on. They know what to expect, so they have clarity when it's time to take action.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Great. Okay, so here we are at mindset. So we're focusing on the 3 keys to success: mindset, skill set, action. Jimmy, you've given us a lot of takeaways already, but what comes up for you mindset wise? What if anything was different in your 2024 mindset versus your 2023 mindset, which again allowed you to triple your business?
So this I actually really like to talk about, and I like to tell people, and it was even on my Christmas card this year, that I had my best year ever. And when I say that, I don't mean just professionally. I mean, it was the best year of my life. I was 59 years old. Little did I expect the best year of my life would be at 59. And I mean that by like everything seemed to be clicking. I was in the best mood. I was the happiest. I was the healthiest. I was feeling more fulfilled and engaged or whatever. I did have a great year professionally, obviously. But in the spring, last year during my coaching sessions, I think I was trying to take a little break or vacation or something. And I was talking to Brady and I was like it's like, oh my God, I got so much to do. I got to do this and this. And it's like, I'm worried that it's like, this isn't going to happen and everything else. And he goes, wait, stop. And this was like what I call almost like my aha moment. And he said, Jim, what if everything went right? And he goes, just think about it for a minute. Have you faced challenges in your life? And I said, oh, absolutely. And he goes, and do things go wrong sometimes? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you fix them? And I said, yeah, I do. And so he goes, well, then stop worrying about it. If something comes up, it'll happen, but start changing your mindset a little bit to what if everything goes right? And he actually did take me on an exercise. He goes, so let's talk about the next couple of weeks. What would that look like if everything went right? And so we literally kind of talked it out like, well, this would happen on this day and this would happen and this would come back. And we just kind of went through everything. And you know what? It all went right. And it was a lot more enjoyable to go through life that way or whatever. And that carried on through a very busy season for me. And everything seemed to be clicking. I'm not saying everything went right, but I do have a skill set and I'm pretty good at what I do. And I fixed the problems that came up and I just had a better mental attitude. And I think it contributed to my best year ever.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. Jim, thank you for sharing that. Brady, that is fantastic. That question that you asked. In Ninja coaching, just like in Ninja selling, we focus a whole lot on questions. We refine our questions. We like to build up our coaching toolbox with great questions. The question, Brady, what would happen if everything went right is brilliant. Yeah.
I have a feeling a couple of my other clients, if they're listening, are probably laughing right now because I feel like I've asked them the same question.
So here's the thing. What I would offer to everyone listening, that can be a terrific self-coaching question. Because how often do we, just as human beings, how often do we start to think about all the things that can go wrong? This is very human of us. That's what we do, just human nature. We conjure that up. We tell ourselves those stories. What's going to happen when all these things go wrong? But flip that around and think, okay, what would happen actually if everything went exactly as it's supposed to go?
Well, we know that what you focus on expands. So the question is, what are you focusing on? Because if you want it to expand, then you probably better pay attention to what it is.
That's right. Yeah.
You got your sights on.
So Jim, that was a big moment for you. It sounds like last spring.
Huge. And I mean, it's life-changing. And I sincerely mean that. It's like, it was little did I know at 59 years old, I'd get probably one of the best pieces of advice from my life. What if everything goes right? And I'm not great at quoting things, but I know that I read all these memes and stoic things on Instagram and stuff. And there's one of them out there that says that those who worry before it's time worry twice as much or something like that. I'm probably butchering that, but it really resonated with me. And I realized that it's like, if I go through it, I know that I'm pretty good at my job. But it's like, if I just do everything with intention and I do everything the right way, things are most likely going to work out just fine.
Absolutely. Okay, speaking of that, speaking of what you focus on expands, we're all sitting here in the same room together. Jim, you have on the table, and you mentioned this before, but I want you to talk a little bit more about it. You have sitting on the table your vision board. When we say board, it's 8.5 by 11 piece of paper folded in half. Yeah. And you've taken your life list and you've hand drawn it. So we've all seen vision boards, or even done vision boards where you cut pictures out of a magazine or print pictures online. Do them that way. You've done this by hand. I love it. Maybe we'll have fun and find a way to post a picture of this if you're okay with that.
Yeah, people will probably laugh if they see what's on there. But
tell us about this, because I think that this can be valuable and effective for some people. Some people love and get a lot of value from it, just the handwritten life list, a literal list. You've turned it into a picture. So tell us about this. Tell us your process to put it together. Tell us maybe what inspired it, how often you look at it, all those kind of things.
Yeah, I will tell you again, I did the first one out of class, ninja class in 2022 in Columbus, Ohio. I had written it while I was in class. That's why I didn't have little paper clippings or scissors or anything else or glue sticks to put all this together. And I've seen people do these huge boards that they mount, above their desk and everything else. I kind of work in a more environment where I go from place to place all the time. I don't. My husband uses our office at home, so I'm usually at the kitchen table one day. I'm at the dining room table another day. Things.
So you're working out of your backpack, your briefcase, and
yeah. So I wanted something a little more portable. So I have a 5.5 by 8.5 sheet of paper, and I did take my life list, and I was like, what I really want to accomplish, and I looked at it, and again, part of the reason I'm continuing to do it because I did it in 2022. And boy, almost everything came through on it, including my long range plans. I had some things like 3 to 5 years from now, I'd like to own a place in Provincetown, Massachusetts. And we even got that within a year. And so everything was kind of clicking. So I believe in the vision, first of all, but the way I use it, I've kind of divided it up. It's not specific categories. There's about 8 boxes on this little 5.5 by 8.5 sheet. One of them is just, about me personally. It's like I want to be a hot, healthy couple. I have a great husband and stuff like that. And we all see people on Instagram that are a certain way. And so there's that. But it's like I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. I want to dress a little sharper, all those things, stuff that was a goal. But then my mindset was critical. And so that's one of the boxes on here. And I wanted to be more grateful, have a best life outlook, peace of mind, being ethical, everything else. I want to be able to sleep at night, all those kinds of things. So I want to be that, have a life with purpose, be a good person. Then I have one that's like travels, which has, where we want to go, like obviously Provincetown, but we wanted to start getting to Europe and things like that. So this last year we went to Paris, and next year we're hoping to try to go to Switzerland, things like that. So I have a little picture with Switzerland and a couple mountains on it and things like that. And then there's some, more practical guides that have like, it's my why. Why do I do this every day? Because some days I don't feel like doing it. I'll be honest. But sometimes it's a good reminder that it's like, there's some things like, we have a credit line that helped us buy that house in Provincetown. I want to get that because, interest rates aren't dropping like we wanted them to. So I've got that. But then there's things like, a primary bath remodel or something like that. Or I want to do some, my husband needs a new car. He's driving a 17-year-old car. I have a new car, but he has a 17-year-old car. He only drives 3 times a week to the gym. So we justify whether he even needs it, but we want to do something like that. But those things are on here. But one of the big keys and the biggest box on here is something, and it's just how we spend our daily life. And it reminds me of why I'm doing this. I love myself a good craft cocktail. So I like going to a happy hour. And so I have happy hours on there. I like dinners out. I like enjoying dog walks. I have 2 border collies and stuff. And I want to make sure that that's a priority in my life, to enjoy my dog walks and go out and see nature and breathe fresh air and all that kind of stuff. So this vision, I have these types of things on my vision board that are handwritten, and I keep it in the front of my notebook. And almost every day, not perfect again, but when I'm doing my ninja planning, on there, one of the check boxes is your visualizations and affirmations. And I pull it out. And even if it's, takes me a whole 60 seconds to rescan it, I look at it and it reminds me of some things. And I feel like I'm more on purpose. Yeah,
I love it. What a great strategy. What a great way to keep these top of mind. I'm thinking about the act of taking the life list and then turning into this picture and into this drawing. You just become more involved in the process. I can just imagine it makes it just more ingrained in you, more bought in, more engaged with the goal. I tell you another thing that came up for me as you were describing what's on here is the fact that you have a vision about your mindset.
Yes.
And that's incredible. I think that can be a takeaway for everyone is, sure, we think about our mindset and we think I should, maybe I could have a better mindset, but do you have a vision about your mindset? Is that part of your life list? Is it part of your vision board in regards to how you want your mindset to be?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I like positivity.
Yeah.
And, we all have our issues with that sometimes.
Yeah.
But this is a daily reminder of, who I want to be and what I'm trying to be.
Absolutely.
So it's great.
Absolutely.
I just had something come to mind as we were talking about that. When Jim and I first started working together, sometimes he wouldn't necessarily be in the greatest mood, or, I could tell that his energy was off. And he told me on the front end, sometimes when, have a disagreement with somebody, it really affects my mood. And I can't remember in the last year the last time I noticed you hop on one of our meetings and wasn't just, even when you weren't feeling good or you just still showed up with great energy and, ready to go. And just that positive energy, I think has just as much to do with everything else that we've talked about, which kind of goes back to mindset, right? And deciding how you're going to look at the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It always starts with mindset, right? It's mindset, skill set, action in that order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty happy that you noticed that. Thanks. Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you talk about clients, everything else, and the people that you meet every day. It's like, how do you want them to remember you? How do when you leave the room, you want to leave somebody feeling good. And so I want to be that to other people. And so I've got to do it for myself too.
Absolutely.
So this is a daily reminder.
Absolutely. It's great. Brady, anything else that comes up for you as you have watched Jim, gotten to know him, watched his business, been working with him now almost 2 years? Anything else that comes up for you as a takeaway on what someone can do to amp up their business? Maybe it's not tripling. Maybe someone doesn't even have that as a goal. But if someone wants to get even better results, is there something that you see Jim doing that they could apply to their own business?
One thing that comes to mind for me, and it's actually a conversation that just came up with one of the ninjas I was visiting with downstairs, is believing that you can, see yourself as a person who is the kind of person you want to be, or the person who makes $200,000 a year or whatever. If you don't identify as that person or see as that person, it's going to make it more challenging to get there, I think.
Right. So it really starts with that, right? Identify as the person who is achieving that. So that, in that case, we use the ninja tools of affirmations, of vision boards.
By the way, one thing that I thought of on our initial call, or our complimentary call, when Jim and I first started working together, is, I always ask people, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Or tell me about what your future looks like. Where do you want to be? What do you want it to look like? And he immediately pointed out a piece of art that was behind him in the camera, and it was, I believe, some kind of coastal view of Provincetown, and that was pretty big on his life list. And that kind of is what started the conversation about the misalignment between your financial goal and the things on your life list. And that's kind of what got me to think, well, I know this is really important to you. It's something you're excited about. Are you sure we don't need to push that goal a little higher?
Right. Yeah. In coaching, we like to introduce people to possibility.
Yeah.
And it's really fun and fulfilling when that happens.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's great. Jim, anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
The mindset, skill set, action thing that you mentioned, it's like sometimes I'm not even as purposeful looking at those things, but the reason I got involved with Ninja Coaching, and it's not an advertisement, they're not paying me to say this, by the way, anybody that's listening, I did it because I wanted to improve all of those things. And, Ninja showed me a path, showed me a system to do that, but I wasn't necessarily getting there 100% on my own. And so I reached out and looked for help and got assigned Brady as a coach. And it really has helped me. I mean, I'm improving. I'm a work in progress. I'm not done. And, hopefully this wasn't my best year ever. I'm hoping that I have more and more going forward, but I'm definitely on the path.
You are on the path. That is for sure. And thank you for being both humble and transparent to say you're not perfect. I think that's a relief for a lot of people listening. You said you're a work in progress. I think we're all a work in progress, and we're all working toward mastery, and we're in this together, just working to be better. Hey, if anyone listening is curious about Ninja Coaching, go to the website, find the coaching tab at the top. You can request a complimentary consultation with any one of our coaches, including Brady. Thank you, Jim, for the kind words about Ninja Coaching. Thank you both for being here.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, Brady.
Yeah. Thanks for asking me.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Jim.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. So again, it's Jim Knight in St. Louis with Sotheby's. So find him online, reach out, send him an email to say thank you, send him even better, a handwritten note to say thank you for the takeaways. Jim, thank you for the takeaways. Lots and lots of great takeaways. Bravo on your success. Bravo on your continued success. I can't wait to see where things are a year from now. It's really exciting. Thank you, everyone, for listening and for engaging with the podcast. We so appreciate it, and we so look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.